The brutal Larjika rape and murder case has now reached the Supreme Court. A Supreme Court bench led by Chief Justice of India D.Y. Chandrachud expressed serious concerns over the safety of doctors. The CGI criticized the horrific nature of the crime and also questioned the hospitals as well as the police's actions. The Supreme Court also pointed out at the delays in the fire and also the question as to why the crime was initially passed off as a suicide. A big development coming in from the Supreme Court there. The CGI emphasized the need for a national protocol to ensure the safe working conditions for doctors, stating that the nation cannot wait for another such tragic incident. The court also ordered the CBI to submit a status report by August 22nd, and it has also requested the West Bengal government to report on the hospital vandalism. On the other hand, the big update is that a national task force has been formed to address these issues with a report due in 3 weeks. All right, my colleague Harish joins us on the broadcast to get us more details on this. Harish, very significant remarks there by the Supreme Court. Earlier, we saw how the Calcutta High Court had asked very serious questions about the functioning of the state police machinery as well as the state government. And the Supreme Court now asking similar questions. Number one, the biggest update, the biggest question that the Supreme Court has asked is, why was there a delay in the registration of the FIR? And also, why was this initially passed off as a suicide?
Yes, so that's right. The Chief Justice said that it's horrific as far as the crime is concerned. And first, first an absence of lack of conditions on work of young doctors. And how can a young female doctor be left to such dangers? And also has no duty rooms available. Why did she have to rest in a seminar room? Safe conditions have to be ensured for doctors and legal practitioners. And name has been published in all over media. They also question how the entire name of the victim has been published all over the media, and also has said that the doctors must end up strike as early as possible, saying that Supreme Court is concerned of all the matters, all the issues concerning the doctors, and also asked several various questions as to why it was passed like a suicide. Evidence also has been destroyed. Now CBI has been handed over the probe. We want a status report by Thursday. We want a report from CBI. We are setting up a national task force has been set up. And CBI has also addressed the demand of doctors, saying that we'll ensure the safety of doctors. We'll take every step to ensure the safety of doctors. It's the highest national concern because it's an issue affecting the health care nationally. We want the body handed over to the parents. Also asked, when was the body handed over to the parents for cremation? Chief Justice questioned the delay in access to body of the body, and why were authorities in the hospital doing? What are the authorities in the hospital doing? Why the hospital had initially portrayed the entire crime as a suicide? And Kapil Sibal tried to defend Mamata government. In the meanwhile, the entire status report from CBI has been sought from by August 22nd. In the meanwhile, a national task force has been formed, an 8-member national task force. We observed that doctors lack place for resting. No basic hygiene is maintained for them. Lack of security in maintaining medical healthcare units. Doctors are left to handle unruly parents. Only one common toilet is there for medical professionals in the hospital. Professionals have to travel long distance for a washroom, accessibility. The Supreme Court going to very intricate things of the matter, and very importantly, the Supreme Court requesting the doctors to withdraw from the strike. That is very important, saying that nothing can be, we are not happy with the doctors' strike, and also the whatever concerns the doctors have will be addressed by the Supreme Court. And doctors have to, for the time being, withdraw from the strike. Back to you.
All right, let's now listen to Bautosh, my colleague, who's also getting us more updates about this entire matter.
Supreme Court was very much concerned, especially our Chief Justice of India, because Chief Justice of India in the past 2 years of working has categorically mentioned the life and liberty of women and the concerned women working as a doctors, interns, their way of working, their security, their transportation from the hostel to jail, all was concerned, and Supreme Court has taken stern action ask the public to know if such type of incident are going on, why not we should have a very
All right, that was one of the lawyers there speaking about what exactly happened in the court. Harish also had been tracking all the details. Harish, the other important aspect of this, right, we'll go back to Harish now, but before that, let's also take a look at what exactly the court had to say. In fact, Kapil Sibal, the quotes that you see on your screens right now, he was appearing for the Bengal government, and he's now clearly pointed out that the West Bengal government will do whatever the Supreme Court asks them to do. But very significantly, a lot of questions being asked of the West Bengal government and also the functioning of the state police machinery as well. In fact, the CGI also suggested involving the Indian Medical Association in resolving this entire crisis. It also noted the fact that the doctors are protesting right now. This is affecting the healthcare across the nation, and this is something that cannot go on for a very long time because, again, doctors are very important for the nation. It is, of course, very important for the healthcare of the nation as well to ensure that the doctors join their duties back. Harish joins us back on the broadcast to get us more details on this. Harish, now the other important aspect here to note is that the Supreme Court has also questioned the competency of the Kolkata Police because they have now very significantly pointed out that the Kolkata Police doesn't seem effective enough to safeguard the RG Medical Hospital, and that is exactly why a CISF protection hospital has been ordered by the Supreme Court.
Yes, that's right. This also raises questions as to the Supreme Court is precisely convinced with the arguments of the petitioners and the family of the victims that now justice cannot be expected from the Kolkata Police, and now they've asked the CISF to protect the RG hospital because now the entire hospital has become a scene of crime, and whatever has gone through, whatever we have seen, the vandalism, the Chief Justice said the vandalism is shown that there is some substance in the argument of the CBI and the family that evidence might have been destroyed. Lab was attacked, the entire area of the crime was attacked, and also question why the police, state government had failed to protect the hospital even after the crime had taken place. Why this lackadaisical attitude? And now a national task force has also been formed. It has to submit a report within 3 weeks. Now the CBI has to submit a report within short time, that is on 22nd. And CBI said doctors must resume work as early as possible. CBI said this court is used of all issues concerning you, and strike by doctors affects the last section of the population. Concern of the doctors have been addressed by the highest court of the country. We feel Kolkata Police.
Harish, we'll keep coming back to you for more details on that. Also joining us on the broadcast, we are getting voices from across the nation, across different political parties as well. Joining us right now on the broadcast to get us more updates and also to help us understand what exactly is happening across the nation, especially in the state of West Bengal, is Brinda Karat, who is a senior leader of the CPIM. Brindaji, first of all, appreciate you for taking your time out for this special interaction here. And again, I have the papers of what the CGI said me so that I don't really get a notice from the Kolkata Police as well, like a lot of people have been getting for quoting or for reporting facts and details about what's happening in Kolkata right now. So I'm staying on the safer side right now. From this paper, I'll quote some of the things that is now again raising a lot of doubts about the effectiveness of not just the Kolkata Police but also the state government. The CGI has now clearly pointed out that this entire incident was tried. There was an attempt to pass it off as a suicide. The CGI has also questioned the effectiveness of the state police, and not just that. The CGI has also noted that the Kolkata Police does not seem effective enough to handle what's happening at RG Institute right now. That is why the CISF officials will now be taking over as far as the security of that place is concerned. How much of a thing do you think this is an embarrassment for the Mamata Banerjee government?
I don't know whether a government which is so determined to protect itself rather than to protect the law as far as sexual assault against women is concerned will ever be embarrassed. But I do say that taken together, the comments of the Supreme Court are quite a strong indictment of the state government and its approach to this issue. And one particular sentence of I think it was a Chief Justice, about the indignity which a victim of rape suffers because of the way that the case is being reported. I think that's a very, very sensitive comment made by the judges, because really, the horrendous nature of the case, the barbarity which we saw, the fact that it happened, within a public hospital, all these issues which have sought to be concealed by the patronage which the principal of this institute enjoys. Because don't forget, the Chief Minister is also the Health Minister. I'm not sure why the Supreme Court didn't ask this question as to, after the principal resigned, why was he immediately rewarded with the principal's post, the head of an equally prestigious institution? So there are so many aspects of this case, which is why I think there is such outrage, not only in Bengal, but across India. And I certainly hope the Mamata Banerjee government is listening. I hope the women MPs and MLAs of the TMC, who have gone out of their way, I believe, in the name of countering fake news, to further add indignity to the rape victim by giving various details of the post-mortem report as though they are experts and doctors. I hope this is a lesson to them too.
Absolutely. Also, Brindaji, do you think the outrage across the nation, while of course it is understandable that people are upset with what's happened there in Kolkata, the outrage is also because of the reaction that's coming in from the TMC. A lot of focus seems to be on saving the face, saving the government, saving Mamata Banerjee's image, because again, looking at what the TMC leaders are saying, we have on one side some leaders saying that Mamata Banerjee has no involvement, let's not drag her name into it. On the other hand, you have some leaders saying that those who fingers at Mamata Banerjee, their fingers will be broken. On the other hand, you have some of the TMC leaders also threatening the protesting doctors. So do you think this is again a case of misplaced priorities, wherein the government, the state machinery is focused on saving the image of the Chief Minister instead of actually trying to get to the bottom of this case and ensure that justice is delivered? And this also sends out a message to all those perpetrators across the nation.
Quite frankly, having been an activist in women's movements for several decades now, I would prefer to keep my focus, and I would suggest this is how generally this whole case should be approached. Keep the focus on what the Supreme Court has called systemic, and I would add the structural context in which a crime like this could occur in RG Kaur Hospital. So therefore, what the TMC is saying or not saying, frankly, that is of least concern. What is really of concern is the fact that a woman chief minister heading a government which till date is in a state of denial as far as its own criminal connivance and lapses are concerned. It's taken the Supreme Court to tell the country that, yes, this is so. These are the questions which the state government has to answer and which it is trying not to answer to protect itself. The question really here, and I think it must concern every woman, is after a case of sexual assault of this nature, the kind of public debate about whether her bone was broken, what other details of bodily fluid, and to have women MPs speak in that way in the name of countering fake news. This is a new low as far as I'm concerned. Because what actually happens, you set up a narrative in which all kinds of issues are brought into the public domain. Elected leaders start responding to such issues, and then the entire focus changes from what that young woman suffered and why she had to suffer that horrific, barbaric crime to whether a bone was broken or not. I mean, this is just absolutely outrageous to me. It makes one so angry. Whether a bone was broken or not, is that what
Absolutely.
is bothering you? What kind of nonsense is this? This girl was brutally sexually assaulted. She was murdered in a public hospital. Is the principal not responsible for that? And yet you promote him? Is the police commissioner not responsible for filing an FIR of an unnatural death? How dare they do that? It was very clear it was murder. So my point is, this kind of public debate which sets up all wrong things, and then you spend your whole time discussing this without centering on the focus of it, which is how such a crime happened, why the evidence now is being questioned that it could well have been compromised, and the entire attitude of the police and the administrative officials. And the health minister is surely responsible. Is she not accountable for what happens in a public hospital? And she supported the principal. So these are the questions which have to be asked and answered.
All right, Brindaji, appreciate you joining us on the broadcast and getting us details about what's happening right now in the state of West Bengal, because of course, like you rightly pointed out, the entire state machinery seems to have become one big fat fact check unit. Instead of actually trying to help us understand what they're doing about this entire case, everyone seems to be countering, talking about how many bones are broken, how many bones are not broken. And in a way, all this does is trivialize this entire controversy, entire horror that has actually taken place in the West Bengal. Appreciate you joining us on the broadcast, bringing us your point of view about what's happened there as well.